Whenever one goes out to buy a PC or a laptop, one question definitely arises to mind. Which processor should it have? Intel or AMD? Which is a better bang for the buck? Hey guys, this is Salim, and in this video, I'm gonna talk about Intel processors versus an AMD processor on a laptop. So let's get started. To start off, a bit of history. Intel started in 1968 and made the first microchip or microprocessor or CPU as you know it in 1971. AMD or Advanced Micro Devices started in 1969 and made the first processor in 1975. Do note that Intel and AMD are the only two processing companies that make processors or microchips for laptops and desktops. So is there a difference between a processor on a laptop and on a desktop if they have the same configuration? On paper, they should perform identically, but a lot of other factors come to mind, like power. Desktops can pull in a lot more power than laptops and obviously will perform better than laptops in a lot of areas. Next is the heat dissipation. Desktops have cooling pads which are obviously better than laptops, so they'll perform a lot better in intensive tasks like video editing, gaming, etc. And this is the part where laptop CPU throttles when it's allotted high tasks. But this video is not about which is better, a laptop or a desktop. So we'll focus specifically on laptops today. Performance. The main thing is performance. Which performs better, Intel or AMD? So if you're on a budget, AMD processors should suffice. But if you don't worry about the budget a lot, you should go with an Intel processor. They're a lot more reliable and perform better in the longer run as compared to AMD processors. Also, Intel incorporates the concept of hyperthreading. Now, you ask what is hyperthreading? Hyperthreading is just that the laptop will see the cores as twice the number of cores that is present on the processor. Example, if you have a dual core processor, the laptop will see it as 4 cores. Also, with hyperthreading, none of the cores remain inactive. I could bore you with all the details, but then you'll not watch the rest of the video. So, in short, hyperthreading is better. But with AMD, it's a different story. They rely on multiple cores rather than hyperthreading. On paper, it looks good. The more the number of cores, the performance will be better. But it has its disadvantages. We'll get to it in a bit. Now the graphics. AMD processors come with an integrated AMD graphic card, whereas Intel comes with Intel HD graphics. And yes, the integrated graphic cards on AMD are way better compared to Intel HD graphics. With the new introduction of new Intel Iris graphics, they're getting there, but still AMD is my choice in graphics department, integrated graphics department. Now with dedicated graphic card, it's a whole different ball game. AMD have dedicated graphics, but they are manufactured by AMD only. On the other hand, Intel have laptops which have dedicated graphic card manufactured by AMD or Nvidia. And in my opinion, Intel and Nvidia play a lot better when compared to AMD and its integrated graphics. I don't know if it's correct or not, but in the past 10 years, I haven't seen an AMD laptop with an Nvidia GPU. So correct me if I am wrong, leave it in the comments below. Now let's come to overclocking. Overclocking is just to get more juice out of your processor. Intel processors are a lot harder to overclock. But with the introduction of the new turbo boost technology, the processor automatically overclocks if the application needs it. AMD, on the other hand, has a software for it to just overclock the CPU when you need it. Do know that overclocking can result in unusual behavior of the laptop, so do it at your own risk. Now let's come to the heating part. More number of cores means more heat. As you see, you have one CPU, and if you have multiple cores in it, they'll draw a lot more power and dissipate a lot more heat. So, see, hyperthreading is better in case of heat dissipation. I won't go into the manufacturing processes of the processor as that's a topic for another day. In the support department, Intel excels again as it has better support for its processor lineup than AMD. Now let's come to pricing. AMD processors are a lot cheaper compared to their Intel counterparts. For example, a quad-core AMD processor will be cheaper than an Intel Core i processor. Now we talked a lot about Intel. So does that mean that AMD processors are no good? No, not at all. AMD processors are great when you are on a budget. Plus, AMD integrated graphic cards are way better than Intel's integrated graphic card. So if you're on a budget, go with AMD. But if you ask me, spend a little more and go with an Intel processor, as it will last you a lot more. If you like my video, do hit that like button, comment for any queries, and subscribe to my channel for more content. Till then, this is Salim, signing off.